Hey guys, day 147 in our Bible reading plan, 1 Samuel 16 through 18 and Psalm 146. And today, a very fun reading, if you ask me. I called this big idea, the life that is marked by God has nothing to fear and is confident in God, even in the face of tremendous adversity. Honestly, if you like story, if you like the Bible, if you like God doing awesome things that just fill your heart with joy, you're going to love today's reading. In the chapter 16, we start off with a bang. You know, Saul is no longer going to be the king, so the Lord sends Samuel to find a new king, and he finds not the 7 good-looking sons of Jesse, but David, who's out tending sheep. And the famous verse in 1 Samuel 16, verse 7, that God does not look on the outside appearance, but on the heart. And that verse has been so powerful for me over the years. And I'm so grateful that God chooses based on the heart. And so he anoints David. David sort of does not get thrust into the throne. He's got a lot of years ahead of him. In fact, he needs to be trained to be the king. And that starts with, first of all, humbling, where he's going to just play music for the king. But then we move into chapter 17, the great story of David and Goliath. And what an inspiring battle. I recently thought about it and just love that story. Everybody's afraid except for him. Reminded me of Joshua and Caleb back in the days of Moses. And, everyone was afraid except Joshua and Caleb. And here David stands up and says, man, why are you afraid? We have God on our side. And he draws back on his experience with the lion and the bear. And, the reminder that every victory today is preparing us for a bigger victory tomorrow. And so whatever you're facing today, don't belittle it. Don't think, man, or don't think this is too big, because it's going to be bigger next time. And the Lord's going to equip you. And what you're doing today and the challenges you're facing today are only going to help you in the future. And if you're confused about that, go back and read 1 Samuel chapter 17 and David's testimony in verse 37. Well, he wins the battle. He kills Goliath, and Saul sits forward and takes note, and Abner and him have a conversation like, who is this guy? And they don't know him, but God knows him, and God has put him where he's supposed to be for a reason. And Jonathan, the son of David, becomes dear friends with the son of Saul, becomes dear friends with David, and that'll become relevant later. But I love the reminder in chapter 18, verse 14. David had success in all his undertaking, for the Lord was with him. And again, reminded me of Joseph back when he was in Potiphar's house and even in the prison. And a reminder that God's presence is our secret weapon. We don't need the help of men. We can rely on the Lord. And and you might say, well, David had things going for him. He was winning battles. Everybody was talking about him. He beat Goliath. But really, David was being attacked by the king. And he was promised a wife, and then he wasn't given the first one. Then he got the other one. So he was facing adversity, but it was only going to get worse. And we're going to see that. And so God's presence doesn't often mean worldly peace, but it does mean that you're in the right place at the right time, serving the only God that can give you safety and prosperity in the future, and the kind of prosperity that no one can take away from us: spiritual, emotional, physical, every kind of peace that comes from knowing that God is with us and is in control of our lives. I hope you know this God, and I hope you love him and are resting in the fact that he sees your heart. What's your heart like today? I hope it's his. Love you guys.